Yo, what up guys, Impervious back with another video here on my channel. This is my Assassin's Creed Syndicate no upgrade run. Now we are in London. Beforehand, Jacob and Evie killed both their targets and just decided to leave Croydon and to just follow their legacy of their father to cripple the power of the Templars here in London. And our first objective in sequence 3 is to chase this little mobsman that has pickpocketed Jacob, and now we get into a little combat session with these thuggity thugs. Need to kill them very quickly. The game teaches us to quick shot, but I don't really quick shot in combat scenarios except for my gun, because I like to use throwing knives for stealth. We kill them and Evie comes back to catch us, and right now in this cutscene, kind of, the game janks my camera down to the right, which is very annoying. As you can see, I try to reach back the camera to normal, but when the chase starts, you can maneuver the camera normally again. Now we have to make a race with Evie to reach the top of this factory, and now we get a fast lift. This right here is the foreshadow of the rope launcher, and after we get the rope launcher, world elements become obsolete. Now I skipped this cutscene right here because there was a cutscene, and this cutscene did introduce us to Henry Green, which is an assassin watching over London and has collected some associates to rule or fight the Templars here in London. He is an assassin that really does no field work. He's kind of an informant to other assassins. He's kind of like the Rafiks in Assassin's Creed 1, where they just sit in their bureaus and just give you information, which he feeds to Jacob and Evie to then make boom with other enemies. Now we're just gonna walk, blah blah blah. Let's get back into gameplay. Come on. Now we run, and we get introduced to Charles Dickens. We skip this cutscene. Now we get our gun. And you see, Jacob did ram into him. And in real life, he has an unfinished novel, an unfinished book, which is called Druid or something like that. Which he couldn't finish because the pages flew all over, and he lost his pages, because they were unordered. We get a little tutorial into carriage chases, and now we'll have to conquer Whitechapel, and we get introduced into Frederick Abeline, who's kind of here's a policeman who likes to be disguised. He's working with disguises to work with the police. Now we get a little tutorial for kidnapping, and I just did a leap of faith right down this haystack and threw a smoke up onto my target to kidnap him, shove him in the carriage, and the thing is, sometimes you don't want to kill these targets, and sometimes you do, because it just becomes easier to like make way to get to our destination. Yeah. And you will, every time you are kidnapping a target, you will get chased no matter what by blighters, but if you reach your objective, you are undetected again. So now we are onto a Templar hunt. And like I said, we don't really care about full things, just throwing off that guy, and the game does like a really weird janky animation right here because I did my controls too fast, hold high profile to run back, and that's this mission. Yeah. After that, we meet Clara O'Day, who is working with other urchins, other children, to let them control their own destinies. And we are in a child labor factory, and we need to free some children, and to kill the foreman. And you know, I like these mission types because you can just like really play it out good with either like what's it called, normal stealth, you know, when you kill all of the enemies, and you can do Reaper stealth, that's what it's called, and Ghost stealth, where you can just be like, yo, I'm just gonna do the objective and we're out of here. You know? This guy almost did detect me, so I made my way around here and high profile assassinated this fellow right here. And more guys down here. I throwing knifed that guy. And dead. He might be dead. Freeing these children. And yeah. His last three. And that's it for this. And now onto our last conquering of Whitechapel. We are gonna do the blighter forts, whatever are these called, I don't know right now. You just have to like kill blighters. This is like my favorite liberation activity of the game, because you know, you only need to kill guys, and you know, it's very, you know, like these environments are so full of like, how do I say it? It's like player friendly, so much player friendly where you can just like let your freedom loose, do whatever you want with these enemies, and that's why I really like them. You know, can really just play very tactical, you know. And yeah, but I mean, like stealth, you know, like when you have the rope launcher, it just like becomes very easy to play stealth in this game, because you can just like rope launcher back up to a building, then look over the territory, throw a smoke bomb, throwing knives, boom boom boom, all dead, you know. Yeah, the last two guys up here, you know, I believe like right here I only kill one guy with an air assassination and I get pulled into combat, but this woman is already pretty low and we kill her and she's dead. Now we are getting introduced to Rexford Kaylock, which is the gang leader of this borough, you know. So basically, like, these liberation missions work like this. District liberations work like this. You, like, liberate a borough, then a gang leader pops up, and then you can either kill the gang leader up front, and you don't need to do the gang war, or you can just kill off the enemies, run away, and then you get a special mission to the gang wars. So now we have to upgrade, because every time I pull out of the screen, the game forces me again to do skill upgrades. You know, you see that I do it multiple times, and you can't get out of the screen. The game doesn't like you to progress without these. So we get a quality life upgrade, which is called Luke Takedown, and I get Eagle Vision too, because why not? And right here, I get Lockpicking 1. This is more of an upgrade than I would have gotten like Scavenger, because it helps us, and Scavenger does not, you know, because we don't really care about crafting resources, because we don't need to do upgrades, you know, in this playthrough. Or, I mean, we can, but we do not. Yeah. There we go. Now, on to the real gang war. Right here. We have to eliminate some blighters. You know. And, yeah, easy. The thing is, the game sometimes pulls you into combos when enemies fight you. You know. So enemies like to pull you into combos. And on no upgrades, you really need to be careful about that, because if they do, you can die pretty easily when you are fighting higher level enemies. So now, you really need to be careful. You know, now I equip my pistol, because it's easier to fight a couple enemies with my pistol instead of my throwing knives, even though they do more damage. And now we see combat with more than 2 enemies becomes a bit more frustrating, and you will see it throughout my playthrough that when I fight higher level enemies, they become like mini bosses, and yeah, that's really frustrating, because sometimes this game has forced combat, which you can't avoid, and yeah. The thing is, Assassin's Creed Syndicate got criticized for spongy enemies, which, you know, still has. But for me, I don't really care. I just play this game. I like this game. I do it for fun. And yeah, I don't really care about that. Now we do get the rob launcher, and we meet a person who can fix that, which is Alexander Graham Bell. He fixed our rob launcher, and now we are onto a mission with him as Evie, because this is a Evie required mission, because she said she's going to help him. I like Alexander Graham Bellick. Yeah. How bizarre. Yeah, I do love him. I do love him as a character. And he's the guy who gives us 2 projectile upgrades. But for now, we do have the rob launcher, and we're now onto a mission to help him with fuse installing, because he wants to combat the steric telegraph line, because he wants to make an own telegraph line. We do get a little tutorial for the rob launcher, and basically how it does work is you press the rob launcher button, and it launches you to the highest point of a building, which, by the way, are massive in this game, but that's how London was in this time, you know. The thing is, it kind of annoys me, as well do the carriages, because, you know, we like running, we like parkour in Assassin's Creed, because that's one of the core elements of these games, you know. But that's how it works, you know. And because the parkour system is not very good, to say it very friendly, it works out very well still, you know. But one thing I want to talk about real quick is, since nothing is really happening right now other than I install the fuses with Eevee, is about smoke bombs in this game. Smoke bombs in this game are not so efficient as in Unity because the start amount you get are 2, and in Unity it is 5 actually. You know, but one thing Syndicate has to compensate that is picking up bodies and whistling, which both of these elements Unity doesn't have. You know? And what also comes with that in Unity, you can easily just like play with smokes, because these are very cheap, because they only cost 10 livres, and in Syndicate they cost, I believe, like 150 or so. I don't know right now. Yeah. But you know, it's kind of like this. It makes sense that smoke bombs in AC Syndicate cost more because, in general, you don't have as much when you fully upgrade your character in Syndicate than you have in Unity. The maximum amount of smoke bombs you can get in Unity is 15, I believe so. You know, and in Syndicate it is 6 with normal upgrades, and with outfits it is 8. You know, but I believe, no. In general, smoke bombs are stronger than in Unity than in Syndicate, but in Syndicate, I feel like that you can use them better in general. I just have that feeling over them. You know, that's my opinion on these smoke bombs. In comparison to AC Unity from AC Syndicate, you know. So now we have installed all of the fuses, and we are heading back to Bell to speak to him. You know, we do get a little cutscene here, but we are skipping it because, yeah, he just runs off with his smoke bombs. And yeah, kind of funny to see that, because horses are scared of smoke bombs in this game, so they just start running. And yeah, this cutscene, I like this cutscene. But now on to our second objective of this mission. We need to loot 200 metal components, so we make our way to loot them. You know, I just drive over some normal people here. Yeah. Rub launcher up here, boom, side up, boom. Good thing that good thing that the parkour system kind of works in this game still, you know, because it's basically Unity 1.5, but with some little adjustments, I should say, you know, in terms of movement. You know, other things are pretty much the same, except for your tools, which are a bit different, but they work the same, you know. But you will get to see that later on, because we get some tools from Bell at another point of time, you know, in the next sequence, for example. But now I do get pulled into combat because smoke bomb runs out, and yeah. But now I'm looting first chest, that's 100 metal components, and now we make our way back to the next 100. You know, you see me do something here real quick. Outliners in this game, you normally want to kill with throwing knives, you know, and yeah, the rope launcher really helps you in stealth, because you can see here, you know, I chuck a smoke bomb, throw a throwing knife at this one guy, boom, smoke bomb, this woman is dead, and now I get pulled into combat because these two guys are still roaming around here, you know, but no problemo for me. But you can see you can still see that, yeah, when I fight with my standard weapons, with my starter equipment, that level 2 grunts are a bit more challenging, and you will see that when we progress through this game, because like I said, when either we do get pulled into combat for various reasons, or we get pulled into forced combat, because sometimes these games do that, you know, that you will see what I mean, you know. Yeah, but now we need to craft throwing knives, or we do have to make an upgrade for them, as well as for smoke bombs. And you can see that I try to trick the game into thinking, okay, yeah, I didn't upgrade, blah 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 blah, I can move on. But no, the game wants you to do these upgrades, you know, because these are forced. So it really isn't an upgrade run. But other than that, we will not make any upgrades. But for now, that was it for sequence 3. We have completed all of the missions in this sequence. Jacob does get the rump launcher attachment for his gauntlet as well. And that's about it. I hope you liked this video. Please consider liking and subscribing if you do not want to miss any of my other content that I post about Assassin's Creed. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.